From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And let's go ahead and jump into today's sports, man. We got a whole lot to talk about. And up first is the state of the Lakers. Christian Wood to man the middle for the Lakers. And you know what? This seems like it's a really, really big pickup. I know a lot of people are really excited about bringing in Christian Wood because, you know, he was a pretty good player on a few teams, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, when he was playing for the Rockets and the Pistons and stuff like that. He had a few really standout games that people really, really caught people's eye. They felt that he had turned the corner as a player, all that good stuff. And then he kind of started playing a little bit of NBA bingo in a sense and wound up in Dallas. And I don't know if Dallas got what they truly wanted out of Christian Wood, because if they did, they probably would have made the playoffs last season. So there's a lot of things that I question about this move, especially with the way that you've heard about his effort when it comes down to, not being able to do what you truly want to do. You know what I mean? And I feel like everybody wants the Lakers to go get a big man, but they keep wanting the Lakers to go get a big man that can shoot three-pointers and dribble between his legs and do all the stuff that a point guard is supposed to do. No, you got to go get a guy who's committed to playing defense. You got to go get a guy who's committed to rebounding. You got to get a guy who's committed to the team aspect of the team. You know what I mean? So when you bring in a guy like Christian Wood, he's more of a project situation in a sense, because he doesn't have a good reputation coming to the Lakers. He doesn't, because if he had a good reputation, the Lakers wouldn't be able to pick him up. The Lakers picked him up. What is it? September? Everybody got picked up in July when it came to free agents. So the Lakers had to really sit there and go back and forth on if they truly wanted a Christian Wood. So it's not really like it's a big bonus of a player. It's a guy that needs a home. The Lakers need somebody to fill a need, and it just kind of makes sense. The Lakers kind of had to dip into the piggy bank a little bit, because we all know the Lakers are very cash strapped at this time as well too, and they had to dig into the piggy bank to make pretty much a 1-year deal with an option. And so pretty much when you're saying that to me, you're saying that this guy is somebody that can be a moving part at the same time too. You know what I mean? It's not just that you're bringing him in to add to the team. You're hoping he adds to the team. But at the same time too, the way that LeBron operates, if he's not happy with what he has, then here goes another asset for you. And I truly want to see the Lakers have a set, stable team where nobody's an asset to move for another player to appease LeBron James, who's not going to be here in the next 3 seasons. So the Lakers have to start thinking about the long term and not so much of the short term. And this is a short-term situation, in my opinion. And I truly feel that if Christian Wood can step up and be the guy that you expect him to be, he could possibly be a vital part to the Lakers having a successful season. But I'm going to be honest, and I know a lot of people probably will hear this and be like, man, Pop just up there hating. I just don't see it, man, because if he's a guy that already had issues with other teams like Detroit and Houston and then Dallas, how do you think he's not going to have issues with the Lakers? Think about that part. So we'll see. It should be a good pickup because they're not asking him to do too much. They're not asking him to be a superstar or anything like that. They're just asking him to make sure that he keeps AD protected. And hopefully he can be one of these guys that's an actual defensive plus and not a defensive liability. That's my biggest thing. So with that, we move on and let's go ahead and go into the world of football. And let's talk about who are the most vulnerable top 25 teams in CFB Week 2. There's a lot of them, too. There's a lot of games going on, and now we got new hype into teams and things like that. And I know what you guys want me to do. I know what you want me to do, right? I'm not going to do it because we'll wait until Friday for that situation when I have Jeff on the show or Thursday, tomorrow, whatever, or whenever. But Friday, I was saving Colorado and Nebraska. But I'm going to be dead honest. I'm going to leak to you guys real quick. I don't see that actually being a vulnerable team this weekend because if you saw Nebraska's first game, Nebraska got a great defense, but they have an offense that's still kind of Pee-wee league. So it's going to be real tough for them to beat a team that fast and that capable of scoring at any given moment of the game. So it's going to be pretty tough in that spot. But I got a full breakdown of that game. But I'm going to keep it real with you. Alabama is on upset alert right now because they have to play against Texas of all teams. Texas is coming in number 11 this year. And we all remember Texas, it was a field goal away from actually beating Alabama last season. Yes, the game's going to be in Tuscaloosa, but I feel like the Crimson Tide are actually a little bit less potent than they were the year before because they are now bringing in a brand new quarterback. Bryce Young was a gamer. Bryce Young was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was a big-time quarterback. So he had to have a miraculous drive to come back and win that game. Can Kilroy do the same thing in the same type of situation? I don't know. Do I know if Texas defense has stepped it up? It looks like it. They did pretty good last week against Rice, even though it should have been a shutout if they were really going to do that good. You know what I mean? Because when you played against those teams, they're not even supposed to get a point on the board. You know what I mean? So they scored 17. Texas scored 37. So, that was good. They beat them by 20 points. But I still think that at the end of the day, we have a lot of very, very good teams in college football. And Alabama run at the top. At some point, they got to lose early in the season, right? At some point, they got to be a team that has to go through some, through the rites of passage to get back to being a great team. And I know that they're already great as is, but Alabama has showed some real kinks in the armor lately. And let's keep it real. And Texas is a tough out first real game that you play of the season. It doesn't really do Alabama any favors because they started the season off against Middle Tennessee State. We're used to Alabama playing a top 15 team every year. That just goes to show you that Saban knows that his team's not them boys this year. Same thing for Georgia, but I don't see Georgia having any issues in their game. Now, Ole Miss is on upset alert as well, too. Tulane, if they can beat Ole Miss, Tulane's probably going to go ahead and sheet college football this year. They'll probably go ahead and sweep out the AAC as well, too, because Ole Miss is their only obstacle this season when it comes down to a team that can get in the way of what Tulane is doing right now. And if Tulane's able to go undefeated, they should be a team in the Final Four at the end of the year. That shouldn't even be an argument because they beat USC last year in the Cotton Bowl, and that was huge. And that would mean that this team comes back, and if they were to go undefeated, that means they lost one game in 2 years, just like Cincinnati. So you really can't keep them out of the mix. And I know it's going to be tough because the voters really feel dumb because they let TCU in. Yeah, TCU beat Michigan, but they got absolutely destroyed by Georgia because we played the national championship in the Georgia-Ohio State game. That's because they should have, what they should have did? They should have just did it right. You should have had Ohio State play Michigan, and then you should have had TCU play Georgia. So you could have really made some real money. But it is what it is. The fools are still going to watch this shit. So it doesn't matter. So pretty much That's a game that I'm looking at. And the third game that I'm looking at that is very, very suspect because it does not matter. Every single week in college football, a ranked team's going to lose. That's a guarantee. It's just which one. That's the biggest question. Which one is going to lose? It's not, you never go into college football, college basketball, and there's not a week where a ranked team isn't beat. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter. So, who's the next team? The next team I think will have some issues coming Saturday. Of course, is going to be Texas A&M. Yeah, they're number 23 going into the game, but they're playing against Miami, and Miami needs this one. If Miami wins this game, Miami goes right into the top 25, and Miami has a boost of confidence because now the Florida State game means something again. So Miami is a team that can play under the radar all season to set up a ultimate game at the end of the year with Florida State. But hopefully they do have that game at the end of the year. I got to check the schedule on when Florida State and Miami play because they don't play at the end of the year. Sometimes they play mid-season because they don't look at the rivalry the same way that they used to when the teams were not in the same conference. So with that, that's going to be the games that I think we all need to look very closely at on possible upsets. But I'll have so much more for us as the week goes along. So let's move on to our next topic, and that's going to be about a team that's a mid-major, but I think that they're a lot better than a mid-major at this point. Can Fresno State finally be a New Year's Bowl team this year? I think Fresno State absolutely does play the part to a T. This team is always going to scrap. They're always going to fight. They're always going to play good football. But this Fresno team over the last few years, they've been special, man. And I think they've been overlooked a bit too much, to be honest with you. I think that, when you got a team that's won 10 games in a row, nobody's talking about it. They went into Purdue and didn't even blink. They didn't even blink. They went in there, beat them 39-35. No problem. This is what we do. This is what we do. They beat UCLA a few years ago, 42-39. That's what they do. That's why it cracked me up when they said, they paid him $1.35 million. Well, you paid these guys, you paid them to lose then, I guess, because, these guys don't have a loser's mentality. You should have went and paid somebody like Sacramento State to come play against you if you really want to win the game. But you call up Fresno State team that just won 10 games in a row, and you give them a 1.35 and think that they're going to lay down for you. Purdue? Come on, Purdue. You bet you smarter than that. You smarter than that. You could have went and got Pacific Union College or Pacific Azusa, college, or Occidental, somebody, but you would have got Fresno State. Like, come on, man. You was expecting to lose. You'd have been better off playing Cal or Stanford, honestly. And that's crazy. Those are Pac-12 teams. And that's just how good Fresno has become. And they got players across the board, man. And you have to think about it. Devontae Adams, one of the top-tier receivers in the NFL, Fresno State Bulldog. Derek Carr, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Fresno State Bulldog. The list goes on and on who's in the NFL right now as well, too. Fresno State has produced some very great athletes into the NFL over the last decade, 20 years or so. And we have to just start paying homage where homage is due. And Fresno State really did get a sour piece of the a sour piece in their mouth, because it's not fair to this team that the Pac-12 is about to dissolve and they couldn't even get a phone call. Like, literally, with the day UCLA and USC left, I thought Fresno State and San Diego State was going to get the call. And they didn't, because the Pac-12 is just in shambles at this moment. And it's still going on. They still got two teams there, and they still said, we're going to still try to get ourselves some Mountain West teams. But I don't know if any of those Mountain West teams want to pay a $32 million exit fee. And come on, dude. And they're still considered a mid-major conference. Why would you pay a $32 million exit fee and you already get, and your conference don't have as many holes as this conference over here? That just doesn't make sense. So Fresno being a team that has been overlooked. I feel like it's their turn this year. If they run the table, I know I just said it about Tulane, but I feel like you got to give some love to the Bulldogs as well too. You don't have to put them in the Final Four, but you could do the right thing. The right thing. And I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But if they play well enough at the end of the year and say they have a better record than the best team in the Pac-12, you should let them play in the Rose Bowl against the Big Ten champ or whoever the Big Ten sends to the Rose Bowl this year. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but you know how packed they would make the Rose Bowl? The whole city of Fresno would show up, okay? And literally all of Central California. So it wouldn't be like you losing any money in this deal. So I truly do feel like if Fresno State goes undefeated this season, they need to be rewarded with a real bowl game. And I think that you don't have to put them in the Final Four. You don't. But you can put them in the New Year's Six. I think that's fair enough, and we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, Fresno State still balls this week, because I'm giving them the world right now, but they can mess around and lose on Saturday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But all in all, Fresno, very impressive last week, plus 170 for me and my clients as well too. So we all enjoyed that. So it is what it is. Fresno State Bulldogs. Can they be a New Year's Bowl team? We will have to see. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our final topic before we get to our first commercial break, and that's going to be the Bolt Report. What to expect Sunday at SoFi in the home opener. What are the keys to victory? All right, so you got the Chargers 10-7. No pressure. They're not the team that won the Super Bowl last year. That's the Chiefs. They're not the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. That's the Rams. But they're a team that has that Super Bowl look in their eyes this year. And I know it sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, they didn't move to LA just to move to LA. They moved to LA because they felt like if they went and put themselves in a bigger market, that they can become a bigger team. And I think that that's all coming to fruition now. You got pretty much a top 3 quarterback in Justin Herbert. You got one of the more versatile running backs in Austin Eckler. And then to top it off, you probably got one of the best wide receiver trios in the NFL. And we could say maybe some of the best 4 wide receivers in the league if you add in Darius Davis, because we know Quentin Johnston is going to be probably a non-bust player. He's going to be big time. He's going to ball. Mike Williams, we already know he's a freak of nature. And Keenan Allen is one of the more consistent wide receivers in the NFL over the last decade. So you have that working for you. Then you have Everett at the tight end position, and you have Parham as well too. And then you have one of the top 10 offensive lines in the league as well too, when everybody's healthy. So the offense is set. They're good to go. Everything's on tilt for that side. The side that you say to yourself that can be questioned is the defense, but it's not the 2 edge rushers that they have in Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Those 2 are probably first ballot Hall of Famers. Let's keep it real. And then you got Derwin James, a guy that can play defensive back, and he can play linebacker as well too. So he's a rover. He can do whatever he wants. My biggest question with the Chargers is the whole entire secondary. I don't think that those corners are good enough to say that they're elite, but they're not bad to say that they're mediocre. They're somewhere in the middle. If they can get Asante Samuel Jr. to step up his game this year and actually be a little more healthy this year, skies are the limit for the DB crew. But that's my biggest question when it comes to the Chargers. But when it comes to Sunday's game, they're going to have to keep Tua honest. They're going to have to give Tua the little bits and pieces, nothing that goes past 20, 30 yards. They're going to have to keep the double coverage on Tyreek Hill, and they're going to have to get really physical with Jalen Waddle. I think if you get physical with Jalen Waddle, he goes across the middle, you light his ass up a few times, he's probably going to say, I don't want no more of this. So that's something that you have to put into play. The biggest thing for the Chargers is that they have the advantage in the running game. And if they can take advantage of that portion of the game and hold on to the ball for at least 60 to 70% of the game. They should be able to win this game fairly easily. But knowing the Chargers, this is going to be one of those absolute epic matchups because that's what the Chargers do. They always have to have a game where everything goes back and forth and everything becomes a damn action movie. So we're going to have to see. We're just going to have to see. But the Chargers, I do like what they built here in the preseason, what they've done in training camp. And I'm going to give you 3 players to circle to have big games. First and foremost, Justin Herbert. Second will be Khalil Mack. And here goes the third name for you. And he's somebody, hopefully he gets enough touches or even a look because he deserves it. But he could be the X factor in this game. Running back, Elijah Dotson. So if Dotson gets some playing time, he scores a touchdown. You heard it here first that he was going to be the guy on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But if I do have to make a prediction, I do feel like the Chargers win this game 30-20. That's where I'm going to go with this one. So we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into some Dodger baseball, and we're going to talk some Wednesday night baseball as well, too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles. And man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I actually got an original team member with me today, too, our old producer, Mr. Monty Leonard. You guys already know he gave us all the banging ass graphics that we have for this show, all that good stuff. You know, I know he used to get on camera sometimes back in the day, but y'all remember Monty. And man, you guys make sure that you guys check out the new IG page, the new clothing brand that's going down right now, Ocean Views. Beautiful stuff. He just walked in the studio today with a beautiful tracksuit. I don't know if it was velour or it don't matter what it is. It's fucking popping. It reminded me of some shit from about 86, 87, man. My man walked up in here like he was big time, man. You walked up in here like he had 20 bricks at home. But you guys check it out, man. This is some neat shit right here. This Ocean Views. You guys see that? You guys see the sunglasses. You see that creativity right there. Then you got this right here as well, too. You know, you got the back. Let me get the hoodie down. And you guys see that Ocean Views clothing beyond. What does that say? All right. And then you guys see what's going on with that. Let me get that up there for you. Vision beyond the horizon. You guys see that? So, you know, knowledge itself, this is some good stuff. But you guys make sure to go on the IG. You guys going on to put in Ocean Views. It should pop up right there. Ocean Views IG. It's right there. And if you guys do want to get your order on and all that good stuff, you guys go ahead and DM my man's Amani, or you guys go ahead and hit me up and we'll go ahead and we'll correspond about that for you as well. So I just want to go ahead and give my peoples is some promo real quick on the show because we're gonna be doing a lot of special work together and things like that. So y'all be on the lookout, man. Ocean Views, that clothing brand that's about to take the world over. Y'all already know what's up. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some Dodger baseball and Dodger baseball, Blue Crew Daily. I should use this graphic, but I'm gonna just use this game. But you guys already know Blue Crew Daily. It's because if I use it, it gets a little. I look at it, I'll be like, damn, we don't even have Bauer anymore. We don't have Cody anymore. So I'm gonna try to get my mans to update it for us a little bit for next year because we're already at the end of the year for the Dodgers. But Dodgers suffer their fourth loss out of their last 5 games with a 6-3 loss at Marlins. Is this worrisome? How is it worrisome when your team is up 13 and a half games and pretty much a week away from clinching the division? Like, the Dodgers have to, at some point, run into some losing. And the Dodgers have done so much winning over the last 3 months of the summertime that, of course, you were going to have the first 5 days of September be absolutely dreadful. And the Dodgers have sat up in here and started the month off 1-4. Am I worried about it? No, I'm not. Why should I be worried about that? The Dodgers are an absolute unit. They're a monster of a team. And there's nothing to truly worry about because at the end of the day, the Dodgers aren't even the best team in the National League, right? It's the Braves, ain't it? They just beat the Dodgers 3 out of 4, even though the Dodgers beat them 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. But still, we know that the Braves are the ones with the pressure on them. The Dodgers have been here, done that, whatever. And they're not even worried about being the number 1 seed right now because they know the pressure that comes with all that. They've been there, done that, and they haven't had any World Series won. So what difference does it make? So pretty much this year, the Dodgers have went with the flow as best as they possibly can, but they know how to win when it's time to win. That's what the great ones do. If you spend all your time winning, when you have to play the toughest series, you never win that series because you never had to go through anything. It's always the teams that have to go through a struggle that can win that championship without the headache that other teams have to go through. The dominant team has to go through. They expect you to win a championship, so they're going to question everything. Every time you lose, it's a big deal. The Dodgers losing 4 out of 5 right now is not a big deal because we've already seen the Dodgers fail plenty of times. And we know that they went 25-5 in the month of August. Like, literally, they were the best team in baseball all month until Atlanta came to town last weekend. So there's a lot of things that we all have to understand as critics, as reporters, as fans, that baseball will tell its true story when we get to October. Okay? This is all theater right now. The Dodgers are going to win the West. That's not going to be a problem. All they did was give the Giants and Arizona a little bit more hope for another week. That's all. And those teams already know that they're not winning the division. So, no, there's nothing worrisome about this unless the Dodgers lose the next 12 out of 15. You know what I mean? Then we have a problem. But I don't see that happening. I think the Marlins were able to get a good win because they're chasing a playoff spot as well, too, and they can't afford losing either. And Clay Kershaw is going to pick and choose when he's going to have a big game. The guy's old, okay? And it is what it is. He's been one of the top pitchers in the MLB for 15 years. And pretty much we're at the end point of your career. So you're going to have games where you're going to look absolutely old as molasses. And that's what happened yesterday. It's okay because he'll bounce back in the next game because that's what the great ones do. All right. So that's that. And we got that out the way. And now when it comes down to the situation with Uris, how are the Dodgers going to fix that? Well, they got a bunch of guys down in the farm that are supposed to be those arms, those dudes. So I expect those guys to step it up big here as we get to the end of the month this month and go into October because the Dodgers really do have that glow this year, in my opinion. They really, truly do look like a team that can win the World Series. A few years ago, they looked like that too, but you just could tell that, any little hiccup, any little distraction will hurt this team. This year, the Dodgers have dealt with everything possible that a great team has to deal with. So even Urias's situation that just occurred is not going to take this team off of their mission at all. It's next man up in that type of situation. So with that, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you what I feel for tonight's game. I truly do feel that the Dodgers do bounce back and get a win tonight. It's not that important, but it would be great if they win the game tonight. But Lance Lynn should be good. He's 10-10 on the year, 3.57 ERA right now. He kind of struggled against Atlanta last time out, but that's okay because it's Atlanta. I know he'll bounce back here against Miami, so that should be good for us, and we will have ourselves a very, very good time tonight. That's how I'm feeling. And I think that Lance Lynn should be on your list for pitchers that are going to go over on their strikeout total. Most likely he'll have a 5.5, 6 tonight. I think that he's good for 7 or 8 strikeouts tonight. Honestly, I do. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our MLB Wednesday night. And we got ourselves a full schedule. We got a bunch of games going right now as we speak. And we pretty much have ourselves the Guardians up 2-1, top of the 8th. Giants, Cubs, 8-2. Giants up mid-8th, going into the bottom of the 8th. Then you got the Blue Jays, 1-0 over the Athletics in Oakland. Then you have the Rockies up 4-1 in the desert into the second inning. And then you have the Phillies by the beach today up 1-0 over the Padres. So you do have a finish as well, too. You have the Pirates who won today 5-4 over the Brewers. The Brewers trying to keep their position there in the Central, and they actually still are up 2 games to speak. So that's pretty good for them. And then it was pretty crazy last night. Once again, Texas got absolutely shellacked, and they find themselves 2 games out of first place for the first time since probably about April. So that team is kind of falling apart. And now for the third time in the last 4 weeks, we have somebody else on top of the in AL West, and now it's the rightful owners, the Houston Astros, 79-61 now, a game ahead of the Mariners. So I'm telling myself, Mariners, get your ish together, brother, because we got the plus 55 division championship bet. We didn't work all this way to not win the division. Come on. So that should be pretty good. We got some good things going on with that. So, nephew, what's going on? How's everything with you? I hope you're good today. Let's move forward. And also, real quick, Sunday business real fast for all my fantasy people. Joe Burrow is good to go for Sunday, even though he has his hamstring issue. You guys still got to tread a little lightly with that. This is a guy who hasn't had any, I'm going to say it again, this guy hasn't had any preseason snaps. So, yeah, you're not just going to come into the regular season and be ready to be the man. So it might take a little bit of time. So if he is on your fantasy team, if your other quarterback has a better matchup, you might want to have your quarterback you might want to start that quarterback, in my opinion. Because why? Joe Burrow is never won a game in Cleveland either. So just know that. And he's probably had by far his worst games in Cleveland too. So that's something that you have to be prepared for. So I'm just trying to get you guys ready. Don't fall for the okie doke. Bro's been on the sideline for 4 weeks, okay? Don't fall for the okie doke. Just like I don't fall for the okie doke with the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll talk more about that, but it's all about the great American pastime right now. Let's go ahead and jump into this Mariners-Reds game. And you all know that these teams, this is the Ken Griffey Jr. Pitch off or invitational, I should say, the Ken Griffey Jr. Invitational, Ken Griffey Sr. Invitational, because both the Griffeys played for both these teams. You know that Griffey left Seattle to go play for the Cincinnati Reds. I still think that it ruined his career as well too, because at the end of the day, we all know that Griffey should have took himself to somebody like the Dodgers, somebody like the Angels, somebody in a big market. He went to Cincinnati of all places. He could have even went to the Indians, dude, who were like the best team in baseball at that time. Like, bro was not thinking at all. So, it is what it is. But that's how it is when you love your hometown. I was like, but I know one thing. I love Pasadena. I love LA. But if I know I got better options somewhere else, I'm going to the other place. But all in all, Seattle, Mariners, Reds, all that good stuff. When it comes down to it, you have yourself a very, very, very good. I'm gonna call you. All right. You have yourself a very good look here. So pretty much with that, what I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this one as the I'm gonna take this game tonight. Oh, we don't even have this game tonight. So pretty much, yeah, that's where we're at with this one. Sorry about that, y'all. But I think that this is a client play tonight. So sorry about that. All right, but we got the Yankees and the Tigers tonight. And in the Yankees Tigers game tonight, this is a weird one. You got Schmidt and Manning on the mound. So I would love to do the over 9 Tigers Yanks tonight. And that should be really good. So we should see how that goes, see how it shakes out. Then we also have the Cardinals plus 130 as well, too. And that should be really good as well. And then we also have the White Sox plus 100 tonight. And then we also have the under 8.5 with the Astros as well too. So I know I did that pretty early, but we'll get into it in a second for me to remind you. But this should be a pretty good game tonight. We don't have a lot of great games in the afternoon matchup wise, but these games still are important for evaluation. You know what I mean? So we had the Cardinals and the Braves. We had the Cardinals yesterday, 16-78 coming into this game. Braves 90-47. So that wound up being a pretty good situation for us as well too. Yesterday plus 165. Today I like the Cardinals to cover the plus 1.5. They don't necessarily have to win, but if they can cover the plus 1.5, that would be absolutely beautiful. So that works out for us. And then we also have a very, very good look in this game as well too. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And when I do get back, we will go ahead and we will talk those tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. So pretty much, Here we are, WNBA Wednesday bets. We got the Storm +9. We also have the over 83.5 first half, and then we also have the Storm money line +165 first quarter. So that's going to be our WNBA Wednesday bets, and that's where we're going with that. Okay, we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the Dodgers money line -140. Also over 9 Tigers Yankees +1.5 with the Cards +130. We got the White Sox money line +100. And then we got the under 8.5 with the Astros and the Rangers. This is going to be a 29-1 ticket, MLB Super High 5. And that's what we're doing with that. So pretty much, and thank you for that nephew as well, too. We kind of needed that news right there. That's why I didn't even draft Cooper Kupp in my draft. He was there too, but Cooper Kupp has been ruled out for week 1. That is coming from nephew right there. Rise above anything. So thank you for that update. Very much needed at this time. But yeah, no Cooper Kupp this week, but who cares? The Rams don't care. You know what I mean? You know what they plan for? Absolutely nothing. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into today's show. It was a great show today. I had a lot of fun doing the show. We'll be back tomorrow. I know that I got the Mike Albert show as well, too, tomorrow. I know we got a lot to talk about there, but we'll be deep diving into some NFL tomorrow. I also will be talking some college football again, and also talking some hoops as well, too. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. And of course, we got baseball to talk about as well. And I'm gonna throw in a little bit of boxing as well, too, because we got some recent boxing news. It's not a set fight yet, but it is something that has been agreed upon. So maybe we can go ahead and just, schmooze about it a little bit. So pretty much with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into today's show. You guys are the absolute best. And there is no me without you. So as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.